What's up, beautiful souls, to another episode of us figuring this out together. And that's why I'm so excited that we are excited to amp it up to 2 episodes per week, because so far we've done 1 per week, 5 weeks in our relationship. This is episode 6, so it's the 6th week. And today I want to talk about sex, and it's less about, the other episodes were about kind of us, what we figured out, and there's so much we figured out. So that's why I'm so excited to amp it up to 2 episodes per week, because we want to take people on our discovery along. And I don't want that all of a sudden we're these new beings and they're like, wait, what happened? 2 weeks went by and you are just these new beings that are...
Now we're aliens.
I mean, that we are already.
I know.
But we want to keep people like... And that we can look back like, oh yeah, our first podcast, that was after the MDMA trip where we
were just babies.
And yeah, we love that taking you along, because it's all about the discovery, like celebrating the discovery. The journey is the discovery in unfoldment, and it's so nice taking you along. So I'm excited to do 2 podcasts per week. Poo. Oops. Let's take a deep breath.
Afro, did you take a deep breath with us?
Afro, did you? Don't lie to us. How do you feel in your body right now?
I feel very grounded in my body and just very in alignment. I'm like, we have arrived. Yesterday was it's a whole thing.
We should make 10 podcasts about just yesterday.
Yes.
But today? We talk about sex.
How do you feel in your body?
I feel so good.
I feel like we should talk a little bit about yesterday, because
okay.
we just said that.
Then talk about it.
Okay, so we've been Faraday and I have gone through the whole full circle of experimenting with psychedelics and using it for healing and learning about ourselves and playing and coming into our full embodiment. And then we've recently hit this thing where we're like, maybe we don't need psychedelics anymore, because, psychedelics is a permission slip to... in my opinion, psychedelics is a permission slip to go on a vibration of who you are in your full embodiment, like when you're allowing the energy to go through you all the way. And so it's kind of like this placebo that we give ourselves. It's like, okay, today I'm going to allow my higher self to kind of take control and show me what my life could be like if I was fully in my joy and fully being my inner child and allowing all the programming to go, and like, who am I really? And then the work after that is to, once you're after that day, is to like do the work to allow yourself to be that full authentic self. So it's kind of like this shortcut to show you like, okay, my vibration's here right now, and it's like, we're going to go up here for a day, and like, wow, that's amazing. How do I get there in my everyday life? And then we have gotten to the point where just taking a tiny bit is like, we're seeing the structure of reality and like behind reality, and a little, like we took 20 cc's or something very, very small yesterday, like a very micro dose, and both of us were just like, wow, we really don't need psychedelics anymore. Like, this is just too much. Like, everything was just vibrating. I think we're already on that level where we don't need it. And we like went to the gym, and we were like, wow, we're at the gym for like 4 hours, just like hanging out in the sauna and talking and doing this thing and having these downloads, and then like being like, oh, let's look at this thing, and then
BJJ.
And then we did jiu-jitsu. And then you realize that I actually, come on, tell them that I can choke you.
Yeah, that you won 3-0, and that I didn't hold back. You were
afraid of hurting me at first, like physically.
Yeah, but then I cannot come. She has the technique, because you did jiu-jitsu for years, and you're so in the drills and the flow, and I'm just this like fresh-born puppy that doesn't know how to move. I have this big biceps, but how should I get to your throat when I'm stuck between your legs and I cannot get out your legs?
That was so scary.
And then we had this amazing download that we're gonna make a like with
Jiu-jitsu.
our family, like twice per week,
Yeah,
a
I love
BJJ
that.
class with Julian, a friend of mine who's coming on the island. He's a brown belt,
I'm
and
so excited.
same.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
then we made it to
combining.
the waterfall, and then
Mhm.
we played at the
I
waterfall.
just want to say it's
Yeah.
combining quality time
Oh,
with
jiu-jitsu.
everything we're doing, like sports,
Yeah.
food, recording podcasts,
Exactly.
vlogging, like combining everything with everything. That
We're just
everything is
living.
we're just living. Period.
And if you haven't heard about what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, I highly recommend it, especially for women. It was very much in my coming into my full power of embracing my strength, because it's all about technique instead of your strength. And so if you learn the technique, you can completely defend yourself. And also it was a really safe place to like just come into my body and like roll around on the ground and be a kid, and have that be really safe and fun.
And
So I'm excited to do it again soon.
if you love what you're doing, like BJJ, but you don't like where you're doing it, change it. Like go to a different gym, create your own one. That it's not like, oh, I love that, but there I don't like it, so I want to get that done and then chill with my friends. Why don't you combine it all? Just living that. I was at a BJJ class here, and I liked it so, flowing with Julian, but the class I didn't like so much.
Yeah, whoever's leading the class really sets the vibration.
Exactly. And then I'm so excited to, we
Have
just
Julian
just
do
make
it.
their own luck. Da, da, da. So make your own luck. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because I first started training in jiu-jitsu in San Francisco under a guy named Hoff Gracie. And the Gracie family are basically one of the original families that brought jiu-jitsu to America. They're from Brazil. And so I trained under like black belt and brown belt, big Brazilian men who were very safe. They knew how to train me and knew how to like teach me in a way that was good for my body. And then I trained in probably like 10 or 15 gyms around the world as I traveled, and all of them are not made equal. Like there's some that are really good, some that are very not good, like just like the way they're training, and is it safe, or if the person's like a good vibration or not. So
So what I recommend is get a lot of experience. Like
try a bunch of
I
different
was
ones.
excited about CrossFit in Berlin. I did a trial training at like 20 boxes in Berlin, and then I was like, whoa, this box is amazing. Whoa, this box has this vibe. Okay, this box is so shitty, because now I have a comparison. And then what is your frequency? Not this is good, this is bad. What
Don't
matches you?
accept the first thing that is taught to you. Always
And then
second check.
Over
second guess.
experiences, you just get so good at sensing everything, and then from the get-go you sense frequencies, and I call it the bullshit meter. My bullshit meter is so sharp that I can okay, this is bullshit. He's doing that out of his ego, or to make money, or selling me something, or wants my reach, or blah blah blah. So in Berlin I also loved Urban Sports Club, where you pay one membership and you can do everything. And I did like 50 different yoga studios and got all the insights. And it's also, I love that, that adventure touch, that I go in a new yoga studio, I don't know how it looks like. I don't know how the locker room looks like. That's why I'm so excited for our road trip of this, like discovering new sceneries, and like all the yoga studios, like all these vibes, and then whoa, synchronistically connecting with them and there and there.
Yeah.
I hosted a play party, and then we hosted one and another one. So yoga places are great places.
So anyways, yesterday, our acid day.
Yes.
We went to the waterfall, and we got so many downloads. And then when we were, but why do you think why do you think we don't need acid anymore? Because I felt like it just felt like, one, I didn't need it, and two, it was like I was vibrating so hard.
Because it's a permission slip. And once you get it, that you are the permission slip. And guys, if you don't get permission slip, get it. Oh, you need to do this thing. And if no. Everything can give you more or less permission. Be guided by your excitement. What excites you the most? Use those permission slip. But get that nothing heals you externally. You give some things permission to heal yourself. You are the ultimate permission slip. And we got that frequency from psychedelics, and we recreated it on our own. And now it feels like caffeine, where it's always this push. Like I can higher my frequency, but then
you come out of your body. That's how it felt. Like I was
like,
ooh.
Exactly. And throughout the day, I want to drop sometimes more deep in my body, and sometimes get these visions and in my meditation, but then after the mirror meditation, I want to just watch a movie with you. And yesterday evening we were watching a movie, and I'm fully activated.
Yeah, we kept
I cannot watch a movie right now. I need to step in the UFO now.
Hello.
Hello. So that's why we're just...
Also something we say all the time. Hello, is anyone listening? We know you're listening.
We know, because I see them, I feel them, and it's... yeah. But all I'm saying, for many people, it's a great permission slip, but be really cautious. Once a teacher is letting you know you don't need the teacher anymore. And we're like, okay, we got that upgrade. We're on that level already. And then...
And also take psychedelics in a way where you're using it as a tool and not as an escape.
Yeah.
Because if people use it as a tool, they're like, okay, this is helping me to learn more about myself so I can do it on my own. Not like, I'm going to take this, it's going to tell me what I need. I'm not going to do any work. I'm just going to keep taking it. And then that's when you really get lost.
Guys, listen closely. Psychedelics won't fucking heal you. Won't. If you... This will heal me. No, they just make kind of... what's going on in your head 10 times louder. And when you have all that confusion and that lost in it, it just gets so fucking loud. When you heal yourself, you heal yourself.
And then you can use it as a tool to heal yourself.
I stumbled across Bashar, all his teaching. I first just understood them intellectually, and then synchronistically, psychedelics, I so educated myself. Setting, dosage, a higher dosage. I had a trip sitter, and then I had the safe space where...
trip sitter is someone who is sober and not on psychedelics that sits with you.
So higher dosages, please always have a trip sitter who takes care of you, who is your reality check. And then I gave myself permission to heal myself because I was on that frequency. And then I thought about Bashar's teaching, all of that, and then I could embody it. But when you're just totally lost, and then you think this will heal me, I go fertig, I come to Kopangan, and then my life is greater. And I'm like, no. You bring all your garbage, all your problems, everything with you. It's fucking you. And psychedelics are a great permission slip, but only be guided by your excitement. And when you have anxiety, it's not excitement. Then do your research. My excitement was, I was afraid of psychedelics, but I was excited about it, but I was still afraid. So my excitement was to educate myself. And when I educated myself about it, I wasn't afraid anymore because, okay, if I keep in mind setting, dosage and higher dosage at trip sitter, okay, yeah, then I felt fully excited. So, yeah, just drop in your body, close your eyes, see where you're at. Like the post you reposted today. I synchronistically made my version of that too. I'm going to post it later.
I showed it to you and then I was like, this is so good. I'm going to post it right now.
Say the caption.
I don't even remember.
I say it.
Okay, you say it.
Okay, brace yourself. I'm not going to be able to do anything until I hear what my inner being is trying to tell me. Please, Brittnee Bond, elaborate.
Wait, I was like, is that in the quote?
That's always the quote. I want you to elaborate on everything.
So I was feeling this a lot last night because when we were coming down from the acid, like I was just having so many emotions, and I think it felt like we were coming off coffee. Like we both were like a little bit on edge, just like, ah. And so for me, when I go like, it's like into my emotions and you go more into your head. And then we're both like, and it does not line up. And then synchronistically, I saw this thing on the Instagrams that was like, I cannot do anything until I feel into what my inner reality, my inner being, my inner self wants. I like to say inner child. Mm-hmm. And so even when we got home from getting massages last night, I was like, I need a minute. And I just went into my room. And then I just was like, how does my inner child feel right now? And I had a little cry because I was like, I just need to create space for all the feelings. And then when I did that, I was able to come into like what I actually needed. And then I came back to you and we talked about it right away and everything was perfect, you know? But I want to give everyone this like full permission slip to be like, everyone needs to stop. Like I need to check in with what's going on with my inner child right now, and then really honor that. Like listen to it. What does your body say? What does your inner self say? And then, you know, in a nice way, you can just kind of tell people to fuck off. Like if they don't honor that.
Or you know how Bashar says it?
What?
I love how he says it.
Tell me.
Is that really what you wish to say?
What do you mean?
Is that really what you wish to say right now? When no, I got it. I didn't get it how you get it. That people should fuck off in that you have space to tune in.
Yeah.
I thought how you meant it, that because often people don't tune in their inner beings. They have this and then they just scream at people because it's they don't know where, it's beliefs and your definitions, your emotions, your thoughts, and then your behavior. And often people don't go even.
Yeah, you said all of that in the wrong order, but yes.
No, beliefs and definitions, emotions and thoughts, behavior and action.
No, I just studied it.
Huh?
Thoughts is the surface one. Emotions, beliefs.
Yeah, but I go
like
from
to
the
go-
deepest level.
Okay, fine.
No, yeah,
We flip it.
that's how I meant it. I go from the core.
Okay.
I always go from the core. Okay, but when you go from the surface, like, my behavior, I scream at someone. Why do I scream at someone? Because I have these emotions in me. Why do I have these emotions in me? Because these thoughts, where do these thoughts and these emotions come from? From your beliefs and your definitions. And something in the outside triggered you, that your belief is, I'm a piece of shit. And then someone said something and that triggered, like, I'm a piece of shit. And then
Okay, can I just have a moment to really have my thought be heard here?
Okay.
That I was trying to say that it's really important that instead of checking externally with what everyone else thinks you should do and feel and everything, it's really important to create emotional space for yourself to figure out what you want and who you are and what you believe. And then share that externally. And then if people don't get it, that's what I was saying in a joking way, they can just kind of fuck off because you really need to honor yourself.
Yes, but when you're like, right now I don't know how to behave, don't behave. Sit down, close your eyes, and ask yourself,
take a time out.
What do I have to believe is true to experience what I do? Go to the belief, go to the core, because it's all coming from your belief. There is no emotion in a vacuum. I tell you a word you don't know how to act to it. Because you don't know the word, like aglet. You know the word aglet?
Yeah, but I would say to that for me...
You're not going into my direction.
I know. I want to elaborate before we go deeper into what you said. Because you were saying, go straight into your beliefs and figure out where that's coming from. And for me, I love that. In order for me to get to that point where I can go into the analytical, like, where does my belief system? I have to allow space for me to feel my feelings. And I think so many people today want to jump past that step. And maybe for some people, they don't need that step. But for me, I really need it. And I think there's a lot of, like, self-help books that are like, just go straight to the analytical part. And it's like, but we're human beings having a human experience, and it's so beautiful to allow ourselves to have our emotions and just to be like, wah!
Yes.
Wah! Wah! Like, just let it all out and do it in a way that is healthy for you. Like, you don't need to do it at someone. And this is why when you and I are together, I'm always saying, I'm putting this in the middle between us, or we're standing side by side looking at this. Like, I don't want to put this on you. I also still need to have my emotions. And sometimes I need to go have my emotions alone just to feel like I can fully feel them. And then I can get to the point where I'm like, okay, what is the belief? What do I have to believe in order for this to be true? And then I can really analyze it.
I love that. I love that. Because also when you have like a partner, a close friends, when you can just express it, not putting it at them, but just this emotion, letting it out in a way when like not complaining, but just vocalizing it. It feels so much better. And then emoting.
It is the action of
when you're emoting
expressing
it, but in a way where not I'm screaming at him. It's your fault. Like get the mechanism of physical reality. I'm just putting it in the room so we can look at it together. And when someone does it, they get it themselves. Like, I now know where this belief is coming from, and also know that some being savages, I see that they get the mechanism intellectually, so they go to the belief and then, I believe that, and now I believe this. No. It's not what you want to believe. It's not what you try to make yourself, like, I believe this now, I talk myself into that. It's what you most strongly in the core believe. And you can honor that I believe this still, and it's still there, even though I don't want it anymore. I express my emotions, and I'm working on changing that belief. Always be brutally honest to yourself that, I believe I'm enough, I'm worthy, while you still think you're a piece of shit and you look ugly in the mirror. Honor what you truly believe and work on that. Like with my scar, it took me months and months and months from I am a monster, I am ugly, I cry, I puked like when looking in the mirror. I didn't want to exist anymore. And I didn't want to be in my skin anymore. And then every morning I stood there in the mirror. I put the voice outside my head. I was like, this doesn't serve me, this belief. I put it here. And then what do I want to believe? Like, hey, perfect six-pack. I've been there, I've done it. I want to be a role model for realness, for flaws. I want to shine flaws. I want to cause more realness on social media. And like, how do I feel then? Because it's all coming from beliefs. When I really believe that, I feel proud. I love myself. And then the belief, because it's not, oh, I believe that now, and then I will ever believe that, because there's just the here and now. What you believe this moment, you will experience. And now what you believe this moment, you will experience. And then, but knowing that you can believe something differently, and once you experience it, like how it feels when you truly love yourself, and then you go back to a belief that this doesn't serve you, like I hate myself, blah, blah, blah. And then you know it can be different. And then working on that, like it's a process. That's why we're here. It's all the journey. So be brutally honest to yourself. And I like enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And now back to the analogy. Okay.
I was just going to say one more thing, that just accept where you are. Like, I think we go through this whole thing of like, I need to get to this point where I am healed in order to arrive, in order to be worthy of love, in order for people to like me. And if all of us would just lighten up a little bit more and laugh at ourselves and know that the whole journey along the way, we are completely loved and accepted by ourselves and the universe and each other, then I think we would all just take a deep breath and be like, it's okay. Like wherever we are right now, it's okay.
Yes, but most people are so stuck in their bullshit, but they're not listening. They're not listening. But the people who are listening, trust me, there comes this point where you don't need to heal yourself anymore. You don't need to, I use this other permission slip. No, you in the core get you an indestructible soul. You feel source connection 24/7. You feel your higher self. You see how everything is synchronicity. You love yourself. You choose that because you know it's your choice. You're always loved. You loved so much that you can even choose to not love yourself and get those reflections. Like you truly get the mechanism. And then there is this time where you don't heal yourself anymore. You're not on that journey, but you can just live. You can focus on the discovery. You can dance it. You can be playful. You know it all fucking doesn't matter. It's all a blank sheet of paper, and you can draw on it whatever you want. And once you truly get the mechanism, you fucking get it. And then it just doesn't make sense to you anymore to introduce these negative thoughts, to be this, because you know the mechanism. It's like how Bashar likes to say, of course they can go back to being denser beings and choosing negative thoughts, but it's just so much resistance, like going back. Like if I would take my hand right now and punch me in the face as hard as I can, there's so much resistance in doing that. So once you reach a certain frequency level, you don't want to go back, because you get the mechanism and you know everything is a reflection. So why would I cry all the time when I look in the mirror when I know it's not the reflection, it's me? But then cry, it's all, but know the mechanism. Like it's so fun when Brittnee and I have these things, because it never gets boring. I don't want to have a robot. I don't want to have someone who's so on point. I want to have chaos. I want to have, okay, now we have this nice situation. Okay, we figure it out together. Now, it never gets boring, but we both get the mechanism. We don't need to teach each other something because we both fucking get it. Then it's not like, oh, she doesn't get it. No. We can just live in an exciting way where it never gets boring. So if you're not there, trust me, there comes this point where you can just live and enjoy the discovery. And then it's not what you can add, like this permission slip, it's what you can take away, because everything is already here.
Okay, what did you want to say?
Just this analogy about there are no emotions in a vacuum. It always, to have a physical reality, you have to believe something to experience something. And when you don't have a belief, you don't have any emotions. Like when I tell you a word like aglet, Bashar likes to use, it's you don't know the word, right? So you don't know how to feel about it. Aglet. So
is that even a word?
It is. So how do you feel about the word?
Confused.
Yeah, but
I mean nothing. I don't
and then I tell
like,
then I tell you a word like stupid. you have a
connotation.
you have an emotion because you know that word. But you can change like the swastika. Swastika was originally like this
Native American
ancient conscious symbol, and then it was this definition. It was like and the Nazis just made a new definition,
appropriated
and then now we believe that, but it's your individual belief. It's always your belief, your definitions that form your reality. Why do two people, like I go somewhere and another person goes to the same event, I have the most amazing experience, and she or he had the most horrible experience? Because when you truly get that you're the creator of your own reality, you're like, what the fuck? What do I have to believe is true to experience what I do? And you get to all your core beliefs, and in the core it's, I'm good enough. There's nothing missing. I belong. Creation doesn't make meaning. And when you get that, you're like, fuck yeah. Let's go on a road trip. Let's vlog. Let's record podcasts. Let's celebrate life. Let's dance in the rain. Let's check out what's around the corner. Let's just celebrate everything, and let's make fun about ourselves, and let's cry, and let's have sex on the treehouse like yesterday. Without even looking if someone is watching.
You looked a couple times.
Yeah, but I love how you don't even look.
I don't care.
Yeah, but
They can just
cool.
watch.
That is so hot. That is so hot. And then I saw this one guy in the distance, and I was like, wait, if I can see him, so he can see us. So like,
He was really far away.
yeah, but I'm like, I can see him. Like fully. It's not like, oh, there's this ant looking out the plane. No, I can really see him. So he can really see us having sex. And yeah, I just I'm not so excited to offend people. But if we're in a treehouse, no one is there. If you're looking, it's your problem. Just don't look.
I want to say one thing to what you just said, which is like, you were saying like if you go to an event and you're having an amazing time and someone goes to an event and they're having a terrible time, then yes, there is that. And we've talked about this before. Like, yes, we completely create our reality, right? But there's also preference. And like, I'm a lot more sensitive than you are. And so there's some times where like you're having the best time and I'm like, this is not fun. And then I have to just recognize that we can both have our simultaneous. This is what's about being really your authentic self, is it doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm going to still choose to have my best timeline in that moment, which is maybe to say goodbye. I'm going to go over here.
Bye.
Because this is not fun for me.
Bye.
And then you can choose to stay or go, whatever you want. But like, it doesn't matter. Well, I just don't want to put it on people where it's like, if Faraday and Brittnee are enjoying it, then we must enjoy it. It's like, no, you go figure out what feels good for you and your body.
That you said that, of course. Like so often, I was at this festival. My friends like, I arrived to the first day. I'm like, nope, I'm not feeling it at all. I would have fake fun now. They're like, how? I'm just, bye. Yeah, but you paid for everything. I'm like, bye. And I left. And I honor your body. Your body tells you everything. The compass needle to excitement. Excitement is your higher mind guiding you. This is who you are. And you don't have to explain it. If you don't feel a vibe, a frequency, people, and then maybe, okay, I'm open-minded, I say, oh no, I don't feel it. It's a clear no. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to talk about sex?
I want to rather make love, and because it's better experientially when we teach them, you know. Step by step. Okay, so first we talk about it intellectually. Okay, but then scoop down like I do, then you feel more juicy. Yeah, because now we're okay. Brittnee and I, we talk a lot about sex. That we talk a lot about everything. And that in our society, sexuality is so suppressed, so in boxes and structures, like this is how and in this man-made world, we just grow up in our society, and this is normal. This is all based on beliefs, and it's based on a pile of poop. It's so shit. And then this culture,
a pile of poop.
Yeah, this culture is saying, okay, we kill cows and pet dogs, and then the Indian culture says no, cows are holy, and we kill dogs. Like, who's right, who's wrong? Step in the UFO, zoom yourself up, look at how we feed our world, what we're doing, and be like, this is so shit. Most things are built on fear, and we just keep buying it, and we don't see it when we're in it. But when you zoom yourself out, and same for sex, that it's so suppressed, it's so used for in a way to market, and then people get in. It's all, where should I start? Where should I stop? So I would say we start at just telling them how we make love, because that's in the core. Like that's true love.
What do you mean?
That many people think like, oh, I need to add more, and then it needs to get that, and then a threesome, and then anal to mouth, and then they're looking for, there's this hole in most people out there because they don't love themselves.
You're emotional hole at this point.
And they're filling this hole.
A physical hole or emotional hole?
An emotional hole. and they think if they stuff all their holes, their emotional hole is stuffed. No. And you can stuff yourself with food, and you just get fat. You can numb yourself with substances, and once you get sober, you get in these addictive behaviors, or you look at your hole, you look inside, and you love yourself in the core. And same with sexuality. If you don't look inside, you're like, okay, I watch more porn, I watch crazier porn, I have 3 hookers, or she needs to be hotter, or her vagina needs to look more perfect, or she needs to be more tight, or I need to come on her face, and not saying any of these things are quote unquote wrong. No, but I'm saying if you're not, because you don't love yourself, and when you would also have someone who doesn't love you, it's just amplifying each other's self-hatred, and it's just like it feels gross in your body.
So I'll just say that, I don't know who out there believes in astrology, but I'm mostly Scorpio in my chart. And the thing that people know about Scorpios is we really enjoy sex. And
only Scorpios do.
Only Scorpios.
I'm a Virgo, and I don't, because it's my zodiac sign. I'm just so limited by it.
Ever since I was little, I was very sexual, like just curious and open and playful. And I was raised in a religion where that was just so not okay, like so shunned. So I remember one time like flirting with a boy in my church, and then my dad just pulled me aside and he was like, no.
Are you comfortable laying like this?
It's just because I'm wearing a dress, and so I don't want to.
And you don't wear under?
No, I never wear underwear.
Baby.
What if the camera sees?
Baby.
Actually, I think it's because this pillow.
So please watch now visually. I'm going to give you a sneak peek.
Yeah, it was basically like my whole life, men deciding what would happen to my body.
You don't look comfortable.
I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's why I can sense it. But like, how did we lay last time?
I don't know. I just want to sit here. This is where I want to sit right
now.
Yeah? Yeah.
Because you can lay back and sit like I do. Or you're like this. I'll give you a blowjob.
This is a little bit better. I think it's just all these pillows.
But scoop maybe down like last time?
Okay, now you're telling me what to do. Let me figure it out.
Okay, but I just could sense that you're not comfortable.
You can feel me so much.
And that's why... Oh.
I think it's because the kids took all the pillows, baby. Or did we... Oh, yeah, we threw them away.
Yeah, because they were molding.
Okay, hold on. Everyone, hold on.
Everyone,
take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
It's just like getting worse. I'm just going to sit up. I don't know what's going on, but I want to sit up right now.
Okay.
My body wants to sit up. You lay down. I feel very comfortable sitting up.
Okay.
So for most of my life, my sexuality and what happened to my body was controlled by men. And that is a very interesting thing for men to try and think about, because most men have never had to think about this. And for them, sexuality has been maybe something where they want to make sure they catch up on, or they're curious about, or they feel pressure to perform and all this stuff.
Keep talking. I just changed one angle, but keep talking.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I was very open and explorative and curious about it. And I also, I was sexually molested as a kid by my neighbor for a very long time. And there's just like a lot of shit that happened. And I was like, still like, I want to explore this. And then I got married at 18, and I was a virgin when I got married. My ex-husband was also a virgin. And then it's like really interesting because I felt very safe with him. Like when it came to sexuality, he was a safe person to explore things with. And so we would just make a lot of love. But I imagine being so suppressed growing up that like I had this programming that it was gross for a guy to like go down on me, like oral sex. Like I remember one time I was watching this commercial at my grandparents' house, and they had like some commercial about STDs, like sexually transmitted diseases. And my grandma just turned to us, me and my sisters, and be like, "This is why oral sex is bad." And I didn't even really understand what oral sex was. I think I was 12 or something. And I was like so suppressed in, you know, everything. So anyways, these are the type of things that I was programmed into. And so even with my ex-husband, it's interesting because it was very okay in my brain to give him a blowjob. But for him to go down on me, it felt so vulnerable and so exposing for me. And I think also because I'd been sexually molested and all these things, it was just so like too much. It was like overwhelming for me that it was like 6 months into us being married that I like allowed him to go down on me. And then, but you know, we had a lot of fun. Like I remember... But then also it was so suppressed in my religion. Like I remember us showing up at church one day and my ex-husband had like hickeys on his neck, like marks from me kissing him. And he got talked to by our church leaders and we were married and they were just like, "No, this is not okay." And I was just like, what? Like, this is the reality that I lived in. And so we would do these things where just between us, we would like go away for a weekend and we would call it sex fest, where we just like have little festivals for ourselves where we just like get a ton of food and like just explore each other's bodies. And I look back on that and I'm like, wow, that was really beautiful because, you know, coming from such a suppressed childhood, and then I basically just had this free space to explore my sexuality. But even then, I loved my husband at the time. We were married for 6 years. So from the ages of 18 to 24. But I wasn't in love with him. He wasn't, you know, I was 18. Who is not the person, like in my religion, it was like, this is the person you're going to be married to for the rest of your life. And even into the afterlife, you're married to this person. And my inner reality was like, I love him, but I'm not in love with him. And then it felt like a prison. And then on top of that, I was so exploratory and I wanted to be free with my sexuality. It wasn't that I wanted to go around sleeping with everyone, but I wanted to have more types of sexual experiences outside of one partner. And that was so not okay in my religion. It was just like, you are basically like a whore. Like, you know, like you are like, yeah, everything that is bad. And then when I got divorced and I got kicked out of my religion, I still had a lot of this programming. I remember like the first couple times I had sex with someone, after that I was just like, the first time actually I went and like puked in the toilet. I vomited because I was just I had so much programming that this was bad and I shouldn't do this. And let's just say it's been a very long journey for me to come into my own sexual empowerment. But for most of it, I've just been really like this inner kid that just wants to play. Like I was like, I just want to play. I just want to play. I just want to play. And there's been like very distinct moments where I remember things that happened with people I was, you know, having sex with that were really healing for me. I remember sharing this with you the other day where one of the first people I slept with outside of my marriage. So up until I was 24, I'd only ever had sex with one person. And then I started traveling. I had my travel company and, you know, I started meeting these really beautiful men along the way. And I always attracted in like these really amazing men that just were like in love with me. And this one guy I was sleeping with, just very casual, like we were like friends. He was actually one of my customers on my travel company. And he was older than me. He was probably like 5 or 6 years older than me. And I remember when we were making love, he said to me, like, I am only okay with like penetrative sex after I have made you come. And I just remember being like, what? And he would just like, as long as it took, like he would go down on me, he would finger me and it was so, I could tell that it was so enjoyable for him to bring pleasure to my body. And that was like, it's still imprinted in me because it was one of the first times where a man was like, no, this is for you. And not only is this for you, like me giving you pleasure is giving me pleasure. And it was so beautiful. I think I even cried one time when we were making love because I was like, this is the reality that I can have. And how many years did I live in a reality that wasn't like that? Because towards the end of my marriage, my ex-husband became an alcoholic. And I would wake up. I actually had to work through a lot of this trauma because I would wake up in the middle of the night with him penetrating me. Like he would be having sex with me while I was asleep. And he would be drunk. Like he would be blackout drunk where he wouldn't even remember what he was doing the next day. And I got to the point where if someone was sleeping in bed, I didn't actually want to sleep in the same bed with people after that for a while because I wouldn't know if I was safe. Like I would just be waking up to someone fucking me. And this happens a lot in relationships where people, there's a term for it where it's like, it's a type of rape, but it's from your partner and it's very blurry, the line, because a lot of people are like, well, we're in a relationship. But if you don't want to have sex with someone at any point, it doesn't matter if you're dating them or married to them, that is rape. If someone has sex with you and you don't want to have sex. And for women, it's very confusing because we have this big imprinting from all of the mental constructs of society and our cultures and our parents and our families to just receive and to be like pretty and quiet, and then that person will love you. And I went through like all of the different hells that you can go through, and and a lot of people go through what I go through, and they become these women that are very angry, and they're just like bitter. And you see a lot of them here on Kopanyang where they're just like, fuck all of men. They've gone through really traumatic things that people shouldn't have to go through. But then the way that they react to it is they completely close off, and then they like deny pleasure for themselves even more. And I just remember like seeing all of this on the outside and being like, no, I'm not going to be like one of those old ladies that has like 7 cats and like tells everyone to fuck off. Like I'm still young enough to enjoy all of this to the max. And I somehow am awake to all of this, even though I've gone through everything that you can go through. And so I went on this like kind of journey where I really wanted to figure out what it was that made me feel good in my body when it came to making love. And I intuitively always knew that didn't have anything to do with like what physically was happening. Like, we were talking yesterday, like, you're like, how many times have you ever had sex in one day? Because we had sex like 3 times yesterday or something. And I was like, well, with my ex-husband, one time we had sex 10 times in one day when we did one of these sex fests. But even back then it was because both of us still had this programming that like the more we had sex, the more pleasure we would have, I guess. It's like the more we physically connected, the more we would like emotionally or spiritually feel connected. And over the years, I've really come to the conclusion, like trying all the things, that it has nothing to do with what you are actually doing physically. It's about how are you energetically connecting to each other? How much are both of you feeling open and like allowing the love to go back and forth emotionally, spiritually? And then you can have what porn would consider the most basic sex ever, like, missionary style or anything. And you can have like the most orgasmic sex. Like it has nothing to do. I mean, of course, it does have something to do with the physical part. It's beautiful to come together physically, but that's, I feel like, the top like 20% of the surface level. Like the rest of it is all what's happening emotionally, how you feel in your body, how the other person feels in their body, how you guys are connecting, how much you care about each other. Like for me, making love is just this beautiful expression of like connecting deeper together, connecting deeper to myself, connecting deeper to the universe, and like offering it up as this beautiful gift to the universe of like everyone out there who's watching, all the beautiful energy that we're bringing together and like birthing into the world. Yeah, I have a lot to say. But I mean, over the years, there's so many things. And I still was in like a lot of monogamous relationships because that was my programming, but I always wanted to explore more sexually, like with more than one partner. And then that's why coming to Kopanyang was so good for me, because I actually had a partner right before I came to Kopanyang, and we were open, but it wasn't in a way that felt good in my body. And he was like this relationship coach for men, and he kind of just used this to mask his own insecurities by like sleeping with a bunch of women and all these things. And at the time I was like, I was finally able to say out loud, I want to be non-monogamous, because I was really so against all the programming I've been raised with that I had to be really brave to say that, because I felt like when I said that maybe the person would say they wouldn't love me anymore. And that's like, because that was like what I was raised with within my cult, was like, if you do this, you're kicked out. Like literally, we will never speak to you again. And this is what they've done. So I felt really brave to be like, okay, yeah, I want to be open. I want to try sleeping with other people and still be in a relationship. And we did that. But what we did was, when we were in this, we had a house together in Chiang Mai. We had our community and our friends. And when we were in Chiang Mai, we were monogamous. And when we were outside traveling, we both traveled a lot together, separately, that when we were traveling, we were non-monogamous. And for me, that was a really good first step, because I was like, okay, I want to see what this feels like. And then we'd call each other and be like, how was it for you? Oh, yeah, okay, how was it for you? And we'd like share our experiences. And that was amazing. And then when I came to Koh Phangan, I was like, okay, I want to do this, but with someone, like with him, it ended really terribly, because we also both, I think we both really knew we weren't really, this is the guy where we took MDMA and we like bond. This is also really important about MDMA, is make sure you take it with someone that you feel very safe with and you want to bond with, because it can create this like bond between two people that doesn't last for very long, but it's like this serotonin connection. And with him and I, we took it together as friends, and then we started dating after that. And it was like such an interesting timeline. I learned a lot, but at the end of it, I was like, okay, we should just be friends. We're not actually like in love with each other. And I think we knew that the whole time. But when I got to Koh Phangan, I started finally stepping into my full power of expressing what pleasure meant in my body. And on this island, I mean, that's what it's for. Like, we call it our playground. Like, all of us are just bopping around on our scooters looking sexy and like trying all the things and going to a static dance and flirting at the smoothie stand and like all the things. And then I dated Andy, where we kept saying we wanted to be non-monogamous, and then he wasn't ready for it. And then I started organizing play parties. This is for me, like, was like the biggest step in stepping into my sexual embodiment, was being like, I'm going to organize a play party, where I had never been to a play party before. And I mean, I knew how to create safe spaces, but the play parties themselves were spaces where I wanted to play myself. Like, I wanted to create a safe space where I felt like I could drop in. And then at the same time, you know, create safe spaces for all my girlfriends and then all of our guy friends. And we started them off with just our friends. Like, during the lockdown, there wasn't that many people on the island. You couldn't come to the island. And so we just had all our close friend group. And then because it was our close friend group, all of us were like, we do not want to sleep with each other, because it was too close. Like, it was like this soup of us. And if we had already wanted to sleep with each other, we already had. And so we were just, and I also had this download where I'm like, I don't want penetrative sex at my parties, because I wanted to create a space where I felt safe hosting it. And I didn't want, like, my biggest fear was that a woman would come to me afterwards and be like, yes, I had sex with that guy, but I didn't actually want to, and my body was frozen and I felt pressured in some way. And then I would be like, that is a line that I have been through in my body, and I know how that feels, and I don't want to ever create a situation where that could even happen. So I was just like taking that off the table. And then they just kept getting bigger and bigger, and more people heard about them. And like, I did them every single month. And this is how I met you. You came to one of my play parties. And now I'm in a stage where I'm like, I have tried all of the things, like physically, emotionally. I did a lot of Tantra courses here on the island. Tantra like helps you connect to your energy body, and it can involve sex, but it's more about like energy connection between two people.
Want to turn off the AC?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I just started channeling. I don't know what I say. I think that's all I have to say about that.
Wow. Wow. I love you so much.
I love you too.
I was just, wow. Wow. You were channeling so, yeah, it's like, I don't have words for that. But
you know, most people that have gone through my timeline would be just like angry, bitter women. And I'm just like, no, give me more pleasure.
Wow. Yeah, you should just keep talking. I'm like, yeah, keep talking. Like, you know, at the point you said you like the play parties, you've done all of the things.
Well, ask
all
me
of the
question.
Okay, as you said, you like, okay, I've done all of the things physically, emotionally. So what does it come down to now? Like, what is how do people enjoy sex? Like, what was all this journey to discover how sex is?
Like, what was the point?
Yeah, that now now I would say you can enjoy sex more than ever and have no pressure on yourself and be so free about it and not all the society shit what you cut out of it. So how is it now, and what is the like the quote unquote destination where people can work towards?
Well, I've always wanted to be like completely an individual and to be like completely shining as my inner child, that like at every moment I can just flirt with someone if I want to, and like let my bubbly energy come through and like, yeah, just be happy. And then at the same time, you know, all of us are here wanting to have this super deep connection. And I think if people say they don't want a deep connection, it's only because their fear of losing themselves outweighs that. And so they kind of deny it. Because when we really get down to it, of course, all of us want to be loved super deeply, you know, and like have this like soul connection with someone. And for me, I had been so connected growing up with my, like I have a family that is very, you know, up in my business growing up, as we say in English, which means like I was very connected to my family. I had a very deep community of my religion and my church, and like everyone knew everything that was going on in everyone's lives. So I never felt disconnected. If anything, I felt smothered. I felt like connected in a way that didn't feel good in my body. And so unlike most women, I have been very independent in my life, in my emotional reality and in my sexual reality. Like I really wanted to be a complete person. I was not running around latching on to people and wanting to be with them and da-da-da-da. I was like, no, I know I love myself, and like you take space. And when you do that, like a lot of people, especially I would say that most men that I have interacted with, it is so confusing for them because they're so used to women being like, and now we get married and now we have babies and now you love me forever. And I'm like, I've already done that timeline. What's next? You know, like what else you got? And if anything, like, no, I don't want that. No, thank you. And then they would just like run after me and like completely fall for me. I think because I love myself so much and they were trying to fill up themselves with my love instead of just loving themselves. And this is where I hit this kind of wall for a while where I was like, is my love too much? You know, like, because when I love someone all the way, they want me only for themselves. That was my reality at the time. They want me only for themselves. And then I can't be free anymore. But then if I'm free and I'm just casually having sex with people, then I feel lonely on the inside because I know the capacity of depth of love that I can share with someone. That is one thing that my marriage taught me. Like I've been married to someone for 6 years where every single day you show up for each other. And that kind of bond is so beautiful if you do it with someone that you absolutely are in love with and you want to spend your life with, you know. And I'm not saying like marriage is like, I don't know if I believe in marriage anymore, but I'm just saying like that kind of commitment to your connection to each other is so beautiful. And like I know how that feels in my body. And so I was running around like kind of bopping back and forth between them, where I was like, one person I felt very chosen and they loved me and I loved them, but then they wouldn't let me be free and like be with other people. And then someone else where they were like, yeah, go do whatever you want because I don't care about you, because they didn't understand how to have this capacity of love. And then I was like, I know that someone out there is like me. Like I just had this deep inner knowing where I was like, hello, where are you? And I would like do these, I would do these meditations where I was just like, I want this person, you know, and sometimes I would cry and sometimes I would be really frustrated because I would meet someone and it would feel like they were that person. And I would get so excited and I would talk to my friends about them and I would just be like, I think this might be the one. And they all knew the standard that I had, you know, and then they kind of got tired because they were like, Brittnee, you keep getting excited about these men, but they are just not good enough for you, you know, like we know who you are. And these men, if anything, they were like, it's not fair to these men because they're going to try and match your level and your vibration. And then they just kind of fall on their face because they can't keep up or they don't know how, or, you know, and then they get angry at me. And I've had a couple of men where they got violent towards me and it was like so weird. Like I was just like, you were the nicest person ever, and then when I told you I didn't want to be with you anymore, you start throwing things and screaming at me and trying to make me scared, like actually scared in my body. And I'm like, this is not okay. Get out of my house, get out of my life. But then on the inside, my inner child was like crying because I was just like, I want to play with someone. I want to love someone all the way, and I know that this is possible. And so I just kept that vibration of like, this is my standard. This is what I believe in. I know this is possible. And then you walked into my life. And it's funny because when we first met, I have this thing with the play parties where if a couple comes, like if someone comes as a couple, like a boyfriend, girlfriend, I completely blank them in my mind, in the sense of like, if the guy is attractive, I just am like, no, because especially as a host, I don't want to ever make women feel uncomfortable. And I have an abundance of men in my life that I love and that love me. And like, I don't need to go and like take someone else's boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to ever be perceived that way. And so you came into my reality dating someone else. Like you had a girlfriend at the time.
No.
Yeah, weren't you?
Yeah, but we call it was
I don't no.
No label.
Yeah. On Compagnon, that's just for me in my mind. I'm like, no.
But she didn't even come to the play party.
But
just the cuddling
that is
event.
all messiness to me. I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, it's not even.
Fuck.
It's like, I remember talking to some guy and he was just like, I would love for us to hang out and I have a girlfriend, but we're open, but I don't know if I actually, and I was like, go figure your shit out and come talk. Like, my standard is so high that I'm like, I deserve to have a clean relationship with someone.
Yes.
I am not someone's extra woman.
Help us both figure us out, so we can cause more trauma and put it on you.
Yeah. So anyways, when you came into my reality, I was like, he's cute, but yeah, no. And then I think I just kind of like blanked you in my head. Like, I remember I always joke at this story that the only time I really remembered you at the play party was when you kept asking me, is it okay if I'm naked? Can I dance naked? And I was like, yes.
Not naked, but put off my pants.
Yeah.
Because that's the style.
Shirt on, but pants off.
Pantsless.
And then you reached out to me. It's interesting because at the time that you reached out to, you went back to Europe this summer, and then I was here, and I was really wanting to come out to Europe, and then I was just like, I don't know why I want to go to Europe, but I feel very called to come to Europe, and I wanted to be there for my best friend Rosanna's birthday, and like, of course I wanted to come play and travel. I miss traveling. But then we connected over the phone, and you invited me to Austria and then to Berlin, and then we organized a play party together. And even through all of those times, I was seeing other men, and I had these beautiful experiences when I was in Europe with other people. But in my heart, I could feel like this strong pull that something bigger was coming. And I remember talking about it with some of these men that I was with, and they were just like, what the fuck is she talking? Like, they were not at the level where they could understand that. And that made me feel even more alone, and also made me realize, okay, this is not my person, like whoever I was talking to, And then even when you and I were in Europe together, we weren't romantic. Like, I think we hooked up at the play party in Berlin, but it felt very like, and then we're doing this. Like, I think both of us were like so hovering around each other that we were not, it's like the energy was so strong between us that we were like almost avoiding each other. And it's funny because my best friend Isadora, I'm going to talk about something in astrology right now. My best friend Isadora also you have a moon in Aquarius, and so does she. And she has this joke that she's like, I can flirt with anyone, and if I really like you, I will avoid you and act awkward as fuck around you. And I was just like thinking of that the whole time we were in Europe together, because you were just like completely avoiding me a lot of times and acting so awkward that even your friends were like, what is going on? Because apparently you're very charming to everyone else. And to me, you were just so rude and awkward. But yeah, when we came together, that was really beautiful. Because I remember we went on our first date, and we came back here to the collective, and we were just like talking. And then I was like, I want to make love with you. And you were like, what did you say? I don't remember. You were like, I want to take a shower first. Yeah. I want to be clean. Yeah. How did you feel when I asked you? When I said I want to make love?
I got so aroused. I'm like, oh yeah. But I had this fingers crossed that because I was so in love that it's not being funny in a way where, oh, you're like my sister,
Wait, what? Why would you say like my sister when we're about to have sex?
No, I said in my head, this was that I like fingers crossed that it's not because I was so in love with you that when we have sex, because we didn't have sex before, that it's not like, you know, when you kiss someone, it's like my brother, you know?
I think you should take away examples of you kissing your siblings or having sex
But
with your siblings.
don't you have that when you make out with someone and it's like...
I guess I only have sisters, so I never thought this is like my brother.
Okay. But yeah, with some, like, I like them so much, but it's just... There's not
no sexual
this romantic, this sexual chargeness.
Yeah.
It's like they're my bros.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you were worried that would happen between us?
You are a bruh. No, I mean not worried, but because that it's maybe for you like that. I don't know. I no insistence, no assumptions on anything. So I was super excited to have.
You can be real right now.
Yeah, I am real, but that's why.
Wait, you were worried that we would have sex and then I would somehow not like it?
Not worried that this is that I think it's gonna happen. Just we never had sex, you know, and I know from the past that that happened, where I thought, whoa, and then I traveled to where she lives, and because it was all this chargedness when we texted, but then when I actually was there, and it's like, yo, bro. Yo, bro.
And then how was it for you?
Yeah, so good. So good. I'm like, you roast me like nothing else out there in the multiverse. You give me these erections where I'm afraid of my dick. Like it's you just moan or you just say words and I get a boner. And in a nice way of like, yeah, you make me so aroused. You make me, because what is arousedness? It's our frequencies matching so strongly that and not this like but of I love you. You turn me on in all ways. What?
I was just checking how long we've been talking.
1 hour and 4 minutes. Yeah, I cannot put it in words so well how you turn me on, because it's and this is for me with you, sex became a whole new definition of, because there's sex and us. Mm-hmm. And it's like this spiritual ceremony of becoming one, mm-hmm. in this way where it feels so good. Just like having sex feels so good.
It's like coming home.
Yeah, but what it is, we're just connecting to source as one. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to do a mirror meditation next to each other, but fuck the pleasure of sex. And it's not like, oh, it's only about, no, it's just we connect, and the way how it feels, it's just this big add-on, like this huge cherry on top where I'm like, oh babe, you feel so good, you feel so good, you feel so good. Oh fuck, it's like I can't, it's like I wanna go down on you always. You always smell so good, you always taste so good, and it arouses me like crazy. It's so my highest excitement. So this is leading to somewhere. No, I just like to kiss your yoni, and then just kiss it a bit more, and then just binge it. Eat it until I finish my blade, and it's just, and there's no arrival. It's not like this is getting somewhere. No, we're just playing.
Yeah, and I love it that it's not about penetration or coming. It's just like, oh, here we are, and then we just kind of roll out of it, and then we keep going.
Like yesterday before the gym, you were like, yeah, before we go, just put in your penis inside of me for a little bit. I was like, you just saying these words like zip. I'm like, yep. And then my sex was so good, and yeah, you just
you
put
said you didn't want to come before.
Yeah, but then you just oh, and I'm like, what? No, I wanted to stop, but
you actually didn't want to stop.
Yeah, but that is I don't want to be stuck in this loop of eternal sex. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, and this is quote unquote the goal. This is just living. This is just flowing. This is two beings who are their authentic selves, who love themselves, who both have their connection to source, and we're becoming one. We're entering one, and it feels so good, so good, so good. It's not like, okay, we need to go through all these positions. No, we're just flowing, mm-hmm. and that's it.
I think one thing to share with people that I always do when I'm first in a relationship is to have a talk with your partner and you say, I would love to have a time in the future where each of us gets a turn. Like one person gets a turn one time we're about to make love, and then another time in flow, the other person does, where it's like, I go down on you and then you tell me what you like. Like you verbally say, this feels good, this doesn't, and then kind of like make it this fun game between you of like an exploratory time together. And then the next time in flow, whenever the person's feeling like it, be like, okay, now it's your turn. I'm going to go down on you and then tell me what feels good here and like move your hands here and da da da. And it's so funny because I've done this so many times in so many partnerships that I've had, and it's still vulnerable every single time to be like, okay, let's try this. You want to do this with me? Let's do it together. Because like sex is usually this thing of like, let's not talk about it. And now we're here. And then like, oh, now we're inside of each other. And it's like, what if it could be this beautiful time to connect all the way through? And like, I love it when we just talk like, oh, that feels good, or that doesn't feel good, or, you know, I want to try this position. And it's just like one big fun game that we're doing with each other. It's not like we are, you know, facing each other like this performance competition thing. It's like we are just two little kids just rolling around in bed having fun.
Babe, you said that so perfectly. Yeah, this thing people don't talk about it, and then we're here, oops, and then we're in each other, and then, okay, okay, yeah, let's turn the light off, let's turn around so I don't look at you, and let's not have eye contact, and then I go through these motions, and then, okay, and now, okay, I go down you, you go down on me, now these three positions, and now, yeah.
Yeah, that just makes
that
me want to
shit.
like hug their inner children. Like, why? Who taught you that that's what sex is? And then I think, wow, most people, at least most men, learn sex through porn. And it's like, that's not sex. That's like I would say like 99% of porn is like performance. It's not, it doesn't feel good energetically, emotionally. Maybe it feels good a little bit physically, but I don't think for most women it feels good to be doing that.
Afterwards, the hole just feels even bigger.
You need to be very careful what hole you're talking about.
Yeah,
babe.
the emotional hole. Yeah, of course. Afterwards, so. Okay. Yeah, this was great.
You want to go make love?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first, I want to eat some fruits,
Okay.
and then I want to make love
Okay.
in Carl's bed.
Carl, we love you.
Yeah, we love you so much that we make love in your bed.
We didn't even tell people. You said in the beginning something about a road trip, but we didn't really tell people that we're going on a road trip.
Yeah, we take them with us, so
Okay.
they will see. Exactly.
We did our first vlog the other day, you guys. It was apparently good. Faraday was editing it today.
It's all, yes, stay tuned. Watch our vlog. It's a new style of vlog. This real, authentic, slow vlog where you just be in our lives.
Just hang out with us.
Yeah. All right. So let's not read the part about.
We have so many things we plan to do, and then we just sit down and things
I
happen.
mean, we haven't planned, but it's just like ideas.
Yeah, I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm just
exactly.
like, we have like, oh, and we're going to do this, and then it's like, and then all the beautiful things actually happen.
It's our entire day is this podcast, but then
This is really what we do all day long, you guys.
Nothing else.
All day long.
But it's just in this but then it's good that we do this podcast, and then it's not this 10-hour long podcast, because I want people to actually go out and like that. It's like, oh, this 1.5 hour long podcast, I listen 20 minutes here, half an hour. Okay, I finish it because it's so good, and then they go out and live their best life.
Yeah.
And it's and not live their best life watching us 24/7.
Have you seen that movie? I think it's called Ed TV.
Mm-mm.
We should put that on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, that's what that is. Like, they hire him, like consciously hire him to film his whole life. It's kind of like the Truman Show, but he knows he's being filmed.
Okay, I put it on my list now. So we end this podcast.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I'm really excited about making love. So that's where we're gonna end it. And Brittnee wears no underwear, so perfect. All right. Thanks for listening.
Okay,
if
bye.
you want to order anything from Rocker Nutrition, you live in
Order it.
Germany, Switzerland, or Austria, you can save 10% using the code V gains. Oh no, Ferdi. It's actually Ferdi. Just Ferdi, my inner child. Ferdi.
Ferdi.
And if you want to see how Brittnee and I make love, hop now over to YouPorn/Twin Flame Couple Goals. Just paving the way for manifesting. Okay, and now I roll up a Shah Nugget. Enjoy.
Okay, bye.
Peace out. Peace. Eat your chickpeas out. That's what I used to say.